Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday. Yes, that is what day it is. I've started a new job, as some of you may know. I've been working nights, but like overnights, but like starting at 2:30 a.m., which some people might wake up for that, but it's not me, man. So I've been working from like 2:30 a.m. to like 6:38, 7:30 a.m. really. Getting home at like 8 really messes with my idea of what day it is. Because like technically I work on Friday, but for me it's Thursday night, right? So that's been interesting to get used to. That's also been why I haven't been on stream very much, aside from running the game, the Pathfinder game, on the Saturdays. So I'm still getting used to that. Kind of trying to figure out the new stream schedule, because streaming on the nights that I work is a little bit rough. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm not going to go on a huge ramble about it, but yeah. So that's where I've been. Anyway, yeah. Started the new season of Zomboid last night, and that might be Thursday nights. Might be a night that I stream. I might try to stream Zomboid a little bit, but it just doesn't do that well on my channel. It's cool. Oh, I forgot to even record last night. One thought I had was like, I can record it, I can edit it, I can throw it on YouTube. But I forgot to even do that last night, so that's a bit sad. But that's okay. I was like in admin voice chat, and like there were a bunch of like random pop-ins in admin voice chat, so it would be editing that out would be a whole thing. So I don't know. So probably fine that I missed the first session. It's out there. You can go watch it on Voraktee stream. I recommend it. It was really fun. It was a good time. It's kind of this whole... It's like a city where at the start of the outbreak, the government of the city kind of like hired the criminal... My throat is already a little bit hoarse as I'm talking here. I'm a little bit sick today. I'll get back to that in a minute. It might not be a long stream. I might not. Maybe we'll pull in the microphone, and I won't project and do high energy voice as much. Maybe that'll help. That was wild. I just very suddenly, my throat was like, "Whoa, the fuck are you doing?" So maybe we'll quiet it down and take it a bit easy. Hello, Boomer. Welcome. Hello. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, basically city taken over by criminals. Wall got built around it to like enforce kind of a quarantine situation, set up a perimeter, using the criminals of the city using their kind of like black market connections, I guess. They're you know, that kind of thing. The resources of the criminal network to to help the city out, to hire some contractors to put up this wall around the city. Anyway, so we're in like a boxed-in city where the government of the city after the zombie outbreak was like taken over by basically the crime network in the city. So it was and then like the crime boss was killed at the very kind of like start of the, you know, yesterday, basically. He was killed at the start of the season. So that will be the initial drama kicking everything off. So Zomboid is back up, and it was super fun last night. So I might stream that. Or I might just record it and throw it on YouTube, or might do none of these. But I might be streaming on like Mondays and Monday, Friday, Saturday might be like the stream days while I'm getting used to this job, or while I'm doing this job. It's just a part-time warehouse thing, which doesn't suck as much as I thought it would. It's been not terrible. I'm still probably gonna be throwing applications out for like, I think I'd rather have a full-time work from home job than like a part-time go somewhere and do work job kind of. Might make it hard to stream because that's going to be very similar energy if I'm like, whatever. We'll talk about it when I get there. We'll worry about the stream schedule we don't need to make up hypotheticals around this magical full-time job that I might get. You know, it's really weird. Well, we don't have to get into it. Short version is a very niche skill set. I'm like kind of a coder, kind of an analytics person, kind of a data person. I'm like all of these things, but like none of these things to the super high knowledge, super high like skill set. Not like a super expert in any one area. I just kind of can combine all of these things really well. So that made me like really useful for like few companies. But like not, you know, if you're like a analytics contracting shop, I'm like a really useful worker to have. But like if you need a data scientist, I can't like I need like training to fully do that. So I only have like very, very niche roles that I'm like a bullseye for, you know. So it's been, short version is, it's been fucking hard to get interviews. This time around. It was so weird. I've been laid off twice. And the first time I got a job offer in 2 weeks that like wasn't very good. And then in 3 weeks I got a job offer that was like pretty good. And then like in the kind of 4 months after that, I found like the perfect fit job that like lasted me for 5 years, something like that, almost exactly. So this time around, whole different thing. It feels like I'm interviewing and sending applications out in a completely different world. It's been a weird year. So yeah, there we are. As for this stream here today, we're going to be prepping for the Pathfinder session that I run on Saturdays from tomorrow. Usually I prep earlier in the week. Not this week. Worked a couple of doubles at this this part-time gig, making a little bit of money, catching up on some finances. I felt tired. Felt tired at the start of the week. So I fell for my baser instincts and procrastinated the heck out of GM prep. I was like, oh, well, I want to stream it. So I need to wait until a day I'm not busy. But on Tuesday I have Raid. On Wednesday I have my friend's D&D session. And on Thursday I had Zomboid. So procrastinated skipped Monday. Procrastinated all the way until Friday just from that one decision. And now I'm a little tired. I'm not as tired, but I am sick. I got sick somehow. I started to feel it a little bit yesterday. Went to work, did work, came back, felt totally fine actually, felt much better. And then I woke up and I'm like, oh no. Oh no, all up in here is like very scratchy. I'm like, oh god. Last time I had that feeling, I ended up like pretty fucking sick. Like just down for like the whole weekend. So I'm hoping I don't wake up tomorrow and I'm like fucked because I have work Saturday night and Sunday night and D&D. You know, I run the Pathfinder session tomorrow. So fingers crossed. Here's hoping that this is as bad as it gets and doesn't turn into a full-blown thing. Because that wasn't even that long ago. That was like a couple of months ago. And it sucked. So, I don't know. Was it even it was like August. It was not that long ago. I don't want to get super sick again. I don't like it. I'm very... My immune system has been challenged all my life. So I'm very proficient at like taking care of myself and being okay. But like, man, usually I get like sick bad once a year. Ish, you know? 2 in like 2 months would be, I'd be a little bit pissed. I'd be a little bit upset. So here's fingers crossed that does not happen. Today we are going to recap in a moment. We're going to recap the previous session. We're going to do a little bit of prep for tomorrow. We have a worksheet that we fill out. kind of follows the template of the Lazy GM worksheet template. And then I sort of replace all the rest of the Lazy GM steps with something not lazy at all. So we might go fill out the dungeon for Voraktee's character Turris. Turris is a dungeon. We're playing with the Monstrous Ancestries book from Battle Zoo Bestiary. One of the ancestries was dungeon. So Voraktee picked that for his character Turris, and we've yet to explore into the dungeon. They're like level 6. Yeah, they're level 6. And I think they are about to delve in to the dungeon. So that'll be interesting. We're going to set that up today a little bit. Again, throat doesn't feel great. So we might like slap down some floor layout, and I might babble about it a bit, and then I might cut it off and work on it offline, because I don't know that I'm going to be able to ramble a ton tonight, especially since the recap is going to be just constant talking when we get to it. Speaking of, let's get to the recap. So last you joined us, the last time I did a GM prep stream, we were setting up for this session. So in some ways, you guys have missed nothing. I could just like not tell you about the intermediate sessions, and you'd think we just picked up right where we left off. But let's give a brief recap of what did happen in the middle. So we were setting up this session where we were going to go after Staris's revenge targets. Staris's adopted family was killed by a group of mercenaries who were hired to clear out this temple where they were staying. They are stenos. You might be like, what? That's insane. That sounds ridiculous. But they are stenos. They are these kind of Medusa-like creatures. I didn't bring up a good art of it at all. Wow, that was a very tiny picture. View character art there. They are Medusa-like creatures, but without the inherent ability to turn people to stone. Stenos either kind of like came from Medusa, or Medusa came from stenos, but they're similar, but they're different. Stenos obviously don't turn you to stone. They're not inherently monstrous, really. But these mercenaries had the one way or another, these mercenaries came after them as though they were monsters and killed all of Staris's adopted family at that temple. So Staris has gained the ability, has made a connection with this patron. They are a witch, and their patron is Calamity Incarnate. And one of the gifts that this patron has given her is the ability to see at any time the closest person who has wronged her and has gone unpunished. They kind of, she kind of sees them as like an orange glow around them through terrain, it'll be like through magical darkness if it ever comes up. I might make it come up because that would be cool. Or like fog or mist or whatever. Can see them like, anywhere on the world, anywhere on the planet. Someone who was like wronged Staris enough to kind of trigger this reaction. She can see them wherever they are and know their distance, know how far away they are. So the closest one, we'll get back to it. But the closest one was this fellow named Leo Brightstone, this dwarf with kind of blonde, scraggly hair. And when we left off, when I last did a prep session, we were prepping for that. But a couple of people were going to be missing, and Staris's player Sarah was like, I'm a little bit selfish, and since I kind of want this revenge arc to like kick up party drama, I kind of want everyone, or at least the people who have strong opinions, which is like the people who have like strong personal connections with Staris so far, want them to be present. So we held off a little bit, and in the middle, I had two plot points going on at the same time. We're in kind of our side quest arc a little bit. Now that they've gotten, not even side quests, but like character growth quests. Now that they've gotten out of this kind of like boxed starting scenario that they were in, they They kind of escaped the area that they started in and were able to pursue other goals now. Time is going to expand a little bit, be on a little bit of a longer time scale, and we're not going to have sessions that only take the course of like an hour anymore. We're spreading it out a bit more. So in the middle, I'm showing you this map like it's going to show you anything, but in the middle, the party had this other lead. These devils who were, they saw earlier in the campaign, they saw devils attacking the defenses of this city. Some devils started sieging this city in Kalmacourt. City erected a big magical barrier, and the devils had some kind of artillery, this purple burning fire artillery that would smash into the wall and kind of like burn away the magical defenses. The party had found leads on where that was happening, so they pursued that lead and found another group of adventurers who are returning characters from my previous campaign, from the marches, from what had kind of started as my like West Marches campaign and then turned into like a more character-based campaign. But they saw Coyote Jackson, machinist extraordinaire, Risen, the very, very accomplished, sneaky, agile rogue, and then Dingo Nash, the incredible sniper who just like blew off the heads of a couple of devils. Found this party. They were also pursuing the devils, as this is kind of a tie-in quest from that campaign. It kind of like loops in a B plot that was going on in that campaign, and this will wrap it up, so it doesn't have to be revisited if we ever go back to the marches. That party doesn't have to worry about devils anymore. Kind of. So that party was pursuing these devils to retrieve some hostages that the devils had taken. My camera's in a weird spot. I just realized that it's kind of in an odd spot. Not important at all, but I'm going to move it anyway. How about down here-ish? This is about where it usually goes, right? Yeah. We'll call that good. So they pursued the devils back to this base. They broke in, had some fights with some devils, not very important. They found that there was this kind of fallen angel character. This Voraktee is the name of the devil. Well, the type of the devil. We don't have to get into his backstory, but he was kind of like leading this, had this fiddle that he pulled out and started to play that kind of like made the blood of the player characters kind of boil, almost leap out of their bodies on its own. It had this like blood curse that upon taking slashing or piercing damage, they would take a bunch of extra damage and bleed and take persistent damage. So he was kind of like playing that tune while they while they like ran across this wall and like approached. They ended up kind of like brute forcing it. I should have known. I was like, they might problem solve this. They might try to get some like moving cover or something. You know, I set up situations and the players figure out how to deal with it. They ended up just like running, just charging all the way over here, taking arrow fire the whole way, all the way across the wall and all the way down this cliff and then over the bridge. So I should have expected that, but it's fine. The fight otherwise was pretty fun. It took a long time because it was a lot of like, all right, we're just taking actions over here. What I should have done, what I would do in the future is like, all right, maybe, I don't know, there was some cool actions they took. I could have. One option would be just like, all right, I'm going to move you here if you're all just running over and you're going to take this much damage. We're going to roll some dice here to take that much damage. And that would sped it up. That would have like nearly cut the combat time in half. So it's something to consider. But they defeated the devils. They got rid of the magic circle, the diabolic circle that they were using to summon these cannonballs. Not even summon. They were sacrificing souls, stuffing them in these artillery shells and using souls to kind of burn away this magic protection. Very, very vile, diabolic magic. So they got rid of that. Got rid of another sacrificial circle, which is how they were bringing devils into the world. They were sacrificing people, and then like devils were inhabiting their bodies. It's kind of like a forced possession situation. Because devils can't just like open a portal and poof into this world for lore reasons. It's very difficult for cross-dimensional travel to happen in this world. So they were summoning devils in to inhabit people's bodies instead. So they got rid of both of those circles, and then the whole castle started to melt. They acquired... Sometimes just weird random things happen in these games. There was a cursed item in here. That was a crown that would like take over someone's kind of... it would influence someone's actions. It could like command the wearer to do what it wanted. This devil wouldn't have done that exactly. This devil had a very particular mission, but also had some very powerful boons. It could just like give actions to people. Very, very strong thing to be able to do. And it could just like cast spells, just cast extra spells, while kind of not being like an active participant in combat. It could just like cast spells from the crown. So technically a very powerful ally if the party kind of like gets it on their side and doesn't get screwed over by it. But then Risen was in possession of a blade that viewers of the last campaign might recognize, called Ayusip, who has the power to dispel magic and also is an intelligent magical item that communicates telepathically with their wielder. The same character ended up with both of these items, which is not something I expected. It's like, chances of that are fairly slim in this party. I thought the sword, I was so sure the sword was gonna like go to the rogue. It's like a weapon made to make a rogue feel just fucking broken. And instead, Turris ends up grabbing both of these, and then Ayusip, the intelligent sword, kind of like senses that there's this other intelligent presence that had just invaded Turris's mind, and Ayusip was like, oh, that's not gonna work, honey, and dispelled magic on the crown, and got rid of the possession. The devil got like popped out of the crown. And there was a brief back and forth of the devil being like, no, I can be on your side. I don't want to do anything against you. I'm fighting the same guys as you. I am contractually obligated to get rid of the void people that you guys are trying to fight. You know, these guys were helping the void people. I was trying to fuck them over. And the party was like, yeah, we don't really... You tried to possess one of our friends. We're not really about it. And then they had Dingo Nash shoot him in the head. And the devil was gone. So that was a goofy exchange, but I'm not unhappy about it. It's fine. Sometimes weird stuff like that just happens, right? I didn't know I was setting up for that to happen until the same character ended up with both items, and I was like, nope. I know exactly what would happen here. So I try to embrace that instead of doing what's like narratively convenient. I try to be like, this is what would actually happen. And sometimes just goofy, random shit happens that changes the course of your game, right? So the sword dispelled the crown, and the items fought each other a little bit, and it's fine. It's fine. So then we get to the actual last session. Most of the party was present. We were still unfortunately missing the scene of auction. We were missing Dear Danzivar in the game. But if we didn't, it was like the first time we were able to play in like 2-3 weeks. So we were like, we'll move forward. It's fine. So they went to pursue Staris' target finally, at last. They went to this bridge, which is kind of like a choke point where they knew they would be able to attack Mr. Leo Brightstone, although they did not know his name at the time. But as they approached, Leo and his entourage, he's with a couple of people they found out. He's acting as like a bodyguard for a family, 2 parents and a kid. We'll get to that. But they were all ambushed as they were setting up camp by a group of devils, a lingering group of devils, still looking for hostages to perhaps summon more devils to replace the ones that had just been destroyed at the keep, trying to kind of like regain their footing. So they attacked, and the party sprung into an action and kind of counter-ambushed. They third-partied the devils real hard. It was just a group of like 4 of these Vordines. It was kind of a fun fight. The Vordines had this ability called the Burning Hoofprints, where they kind of can like just, they move and they leave burning hoofprints on the ground behind them. So they were using that every turn, and like all of this part of the bridge, like all of this, it was just like fire everywhere. So it was really hard for the party to move around without like taking damage. It wasn't that much damage either. So they ended up kind of just like charging through it a lot. I think Turkan took like, it was not insignificant. I think Turkan took like 30 damage from it, being a large creature. And every time, you know, if he moved into multiple squares, every square he moved into, with all of his body, would deal him fire damage. I only had it happen once per square, because technically, like, he had moved into those, you know, he was already in those squares, he was just, like, moving through it. Otherwise, these spells would be, like, extremely OP, instead of just, like, a little strong against large creatures, or huge creatures, or gargantuan creatures. Imagine if you just spread fire, you know, it gets multiplicative very fast if they take damage every time they move. Like, one square of the big creature moves into a square with fire, instead of just happening once per creature per whatever. You get it, or you don't, because I'm rambling, and that either one, I'm okay with it today. So, so it just gave them something to kind of dodge around. It was kind of fun. Caused some people to jump over the bridge and into the water and climb up instead. Find some like alternate routes around. Convince some people to use like ranged options and clever movement and stuff. So it, you know, it's just the kind of thing that's like a little bit of fun. It's not extremely dangerous, but it is more fun to kind of navigate around. So, so yeah. The fight was pretty fun. It wasn't super hard. I don't think anyone got too damaged. I think some people healed already. I guess basically everyone was half-ish. Isha got super bonked. Staris almost went down. Turkan almost went down at some point, but got a big heal. So, you know, it was good. It was good. It was like... Yeah, dog. He's really barking. Okay, sorry about that. Yes. Thank you, Boomer. Where was I? Not a very hard fight, but did some damage. It was threatening. They couldn't completely ignore all the threats. But after the fight was over, there was a brief moment where this dwarf let his guard down. He said something early in the fight, like, well, beasties, if you want to bite too, you'll have to wait your turn. I think he said something different because, like, the sequence of events. Like, Turkan came in and just, like, slammed someone real hard on the first. Like, he charged so far and, like, crit one of the enemies. So he said something a little more positive. Like, don't know where you came from, beastie, but happy for the help. So... But this dwarf, Leo, he let his guard down, thinking that he had been saved by this group, which was moderately true, but immediately got blasted by a Tanglevine? Got tangled up. Got tangled up by Staris. And there was a kind of back and forth where Staris kind of revealed who she was trying to get information from Leo, and Leo was like, why would I give you any information? Why would I, like, you say you're gonna kill me, you're here to take revenge. I don't think I'm getting out of here. And Staris was like, you know, I just thought I'd give you a chance to do something useful and good with your meaningless life. It was like pretty hardcore actually. before I take it from you. Staris was not offering any kind of retribution for this guy. It was just like, no, I am going to kill you, but if you want your conscience clean when I do, you can give me a little information. And that isn't really what did it. Leo, like I said, was hired as a bodyguard for this family and wasn't sure what the party's intentions were. Knew he kind of like heard that one of the people in the family was like coming back, and so knew that like some of the party was starting to kind of like investigate this family or whatever, seeing what's going on. So he tried to kind of like be distracting, be like, all right, I'll give you what you want. I'll spill everything I have. Go over there in the opposite direction. My bag has tons of information. Go get my bag. Go get my bag and we'll talk. So he was just kind of trying to like misdirect away from this family, which ultimately he doesn't realize this because he's dead. But ultimately that was completely pointless because the party's not dangerous to the family, but he thinks they're a bunch of monsters who are ambushing and banditing. Kind of. So he's still trying to be a professional, trying to do his job, which kind of comes down to who Leo Brightstone was. It didn't get talked about too much. I like that it got shown a bit. But Leo isn't super smart, but he was hired as like a mercenary to go fight these Medusas at the temple, and he didn't really think about it much beyond that. And Staris kind of like realized that. That only kind of like fueled her anger, but she kind of knew what was going on with this guy. So he didn't really take the time to explain himself. And he didn't really... He's very much like kind of the experienced mercenary who's like, I know that I kill people for a living, and at any time that could go bad for me. At any time, like, I could get on someone's bad side by like killing their brother, their sister, mother, whatever, you know? Like, I don't think I'm killing innocent people, but I am killing people. And other people are going to be hurt and upset by that. So, like, just by way of having a violent profession, I could meet a violent end by someone seeking revenge. So, Leo had, in some ways, kind of already come to peace with this. He was trying to fulfill his professional obligations to this family, protect them, finish out this job before he tried to beg for his own life or anything. And by the time that was done, Staris didn't really give him a chance to explain himself. Staris then kind of knocked him out with a shocking grasp, and then finished him off. Picked up his own sword. And this is probably the coolest part of the session. Picked up his own sword, which he had been fighting devils. Whatever. It didn't look like that stain to anyone else because he was just fighting devils who turn to ash when they get killed. But to Staris, in Staris's like revenge sight, this blade was covered in blood and like smelled of like hot iron. Smelled of blood. Basically, she could like, she being a snake, she could kind of like smell her sister's blood on this blade. It's kind of how I described it. And then she took the blade, stabbed it into him, killed him, executed him, pulled it out, and to her the blade was clean and cleansed, and she kind of like tossed it away. And it had been like cleansed of the sin that brought her here, and his body too faded out. Was no longer highlighted by the revenge sight because he was dead. To everyone else, obviously, blade is super bloody. It just killed the man. Super gory, but to her it was completely clean. So, and yeah, there was like a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of murmuring out of Staris's earshot of like, I don't know if that was the right thing to do. I didn't think that's exactly how it would go. I didn't think Staris was, wow, that was a lot. So hopefully the drama gets a fire lit under it, as Staris had hoped. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Sarah as a player likes party drama. And so do a couple of the other players. So hopefully it sparks some of that. That'll be a lot of fun. Meanwhile, this family comes back. They only briefly started talking to them. found out that they're kind of like an archaeologist and a historian couple. And they are looking for a castle that acts as a weapon in this folktale that the party had heard about from invading a camp of this cult that they were investigating. And they're kind of like looking, they have a puzzle box that unlocks this castle. And they know that this family was hired by kind of one of their rivals, one of their enemies, to go investigate the castle. So that'll be potentially they might like hire this family or something. They know that they can't let this family go and do the thing they were going to do without their direct supervision anyway. So we'll see how that goes. The other kind of hook here, the other bit of drama that was going to get folded in, is the elf child is an elf named Tin, who Staris knows. Staris had seen before. She had stumbled across this temple where Staris and her adopted family had been living. And they kind of like took care of her until the parents could come by and grab her. Until they could like return her to their worried parents. So she recognized Staris. She tried to run over and interrupt during this whole thing. She wanted to go say, "Thank you for saving me again, Staris." And Isha kind of like got in the way and interrupted and stopped this kind of moral quandary from happening and was like, "You don't want to see anything that's happening over there, child. There will be time for thanks later. For now, go back to your parents and wait, and we can discuss later. We can reconvene in a few moments." Meanwhile, like, I get some hints on the side that Isha doesn't necessarily approve of what Staris did, but still kind of like intervened. I think this child could have interrupted Staris and convinced Staris kind of to go a different way, or you know, Staris might have reconsidered just executing this man in front of this child. Maybe. Not sure how that would have gone, but it's very interesting that Isha got in the way. So that is kind of where we ended. They found out that this family's investigating this castle, and Isha kind of like threw this letter on the ground showing that this bill, I guess, this bill of service, and was like, "All I know is we can't let them go investigate this castle." And that is the last thing that we saw before ending this session. So the session will probably start talking to this family. I don't have to really write more on that. We kind of have that ready, so we're gonna do as we do. I'm gonna pull down my obsidian here. Yeah, the ramble is rough on the throat right now. So I don't know how long I will go. Again, to be totally honest, we might just fill this notebook out. I want to get a little bit of the floor layout to Turris's dungeon done. Bataket is really rough, if I'm being honest right now. So maybe we won't linger on that too much. I need to change the way I'm doing session numbers. Yeah, I need to go back because I'm changing to like S2E5. So I might change the session number to that. I think this is coded as a number specifically. Oh no, it's text. Interesting. So I'm just gonna do that. This is just like metadata for my notes. Very helpful for me, honestly. Yeah, so I just need to go back and change like episodes 20, 21, 22, and that's it, to be this format. And that's not a problem. So we're going to copy over one of the scenes. I've already covered some of this, but I'll just keep all the notes. I don't know what the opening scene is going to look like. It's probably not going to be very complicated. Open on the contract, hitting the ground. The sketch of this castle under the mountain. peeking out of the envelope. Misha is saying, cannot let them investigate this. And really, I don't have to open with any more description than that. So we have what the family is about. The daughter is named Tin, the father is Egwin, the mother is Tithe. I'm gonna adjust this. Originally, let's see. I don't even need originally in here. Egwin is an archaeologist. Tithe is a historian. They investigate things like the Forgotten Gods. They're from the Institute at Arcanus' Folly. I forgot that. So that's good to review. They've been investigating things like the facilities of the Four, including places that existed before the Four arrived, that they converted or covered up. They're traveling north to Temel to investigate myths of the castle. They already kind of discussed this. So this I can collapse. They haven't talked about the dream. Oh, I said they never talked to Augustine directly. Yeah, that's still fine. That's still fine. They were hired by Augustine, but never talked to him directly. They talked to some understudy or someone who... Yeah, that's fine. So then we have the entrance to Turris Tower. I don't even know exactly what I'm going to write here. This might be a really short worksheet, because this is all fine. I don't have anything to add to this necessarily. Nothing from their brief conversation after the fight would kind of tell me things I need to include here. So there'll just probably be some roleplay with these three at the start of the session. Oh, you know what? I do have another scene, though. I do have another scene. So that night, Staris has a dream. Start to dream. And I'll say, like, it's a dream that you may have had many times before. But now you see Leo in it, of these strangers invading your home, killing the other Steno at the temple. Let's see. Invaders entering the temple to Denala. Horrifying shadows that corner and cut down. Your Steno family. This time, one of them is Leo. Her deep voice. More and more familiar every time she hears it. She's going to hear her patron speaking. I'll say not tonight, Duskwing. I don't know how exactly I want this to like transition away, but I'll figure that out. Oops. In the dream, the sun rises. Shadowy figures are gone. There is only the warm sun. Stone benches outside of the temple. You and Syl. This is the Steno sister that Leo killed. Let's see. She holds a cup of tea that... I have all the names in Staris' document? No. A moment. Stara. Yes. Okay. Can't hear the words. We know you speak of pleasant things. You both smile. And then somewhere in this dream, you're not sure how long, a third joins you. Another Steno sister sits at one of the benches, watching, smiling. Watching for a time. When this third finally speaks, it snaps you conscious. The right word. Snaps you to awareness. Almost like you're no longer dreaming. I forgot exactly what I wanted this person to say. I only know that I want her to be doing like a dream message here. Words, words, words. I'll figure it out. Finally able to look over. You see Sig. So she's going to... I forgot to even mention this in the recap. I forgot! So there was a steno, another steno, at the Devil Keep who was like running away with some of these cannonballs. Some of these artillery shells. And this steno was holding holding Sig's sword. It is Sig. I'm going to tell you guys that. Staris doesn't know that for sure, but it's pretty convinced. So Sig has been revived by the only character they've seen revive anyone so far, by the Hand, aka Uro from the last campaign. And Sig is helping him for reasons that will be explained later. But Sig is going to be appearing in the dream, effectively, she's borrowing Uro's cast of, like, dream message or something or other. And, she's here to basically say, like, won't you leave the revenge and the hatred to me, the rage to me? Won't you leave this to me? Oh, let's see. I think one of the first things she's going to say is she says something like I was happy to think you were out there somewhere, safe and unscathed. We'll just say unscathed. Yeah, I was happy to think that you had escaped unscathed. I didn't know I could, let's see, something like, I didn't know I could still be so naive. After the attack. I'll refine that wording later, but... Let's see. For a moment, she'll see Sig, like, as Sig was alive, and then it'll kind of, like, flash. She'll, like, blink, and then it will be Sig as she saw at the Devil Keep. Kind of, like, hair snakes kind of, like, chopped off at, like, different, you know, not like one, you know, kind of at different lengths. Probably some injury and like a totally different skin tone from the revival from a a being from a different world, from the void. So, I'll kind of fill out that conversation, but that's the idea. Sig is here to try to convince Staris to, like, leave this alone, try not to get in their way, and to leave the rage and revenge to them. So, I'll fill that out a little bit. It's gonna, of course, everything after this, like, first couple of words is gonna have to be improvised, but I'll write some bullets anyway. So then we have, why is this 3? 2. Yeah, this should be 2. I don't know why I changed the number. Entering the Turris dungeon, question mark? And we'll try to slap together a little bit of dungeon. I'm so sicky. I'm so shirky. If I can delay, if I can come up with a convincing opening thing that takes a little bit of time, then I have 2 weeks. We're not going to be able to play next week. I'll have 2 weeks to make a whole ass dungeon. So I'll try to, you know, maybe like fill out the first part of the dungeon, the first room or two, and then I can fill out more from there. We'll try. So. So, I think I'll make a new note for some scratch paper. How did I fill out the? Oh yeah. I could probably almost templatize this worksheet for like locations, but I don't want to. But I don't want to. Dungeon. Turris. Second floor. Which is the first dungeon level, because the first floor is accessible. I don't know. I set this as a location. I set it as a quest. With type dungeon. Okay. Did I link it? No. Okay. No factions. The home continent is... I don't know. I haven't decided which continent the Valley March is technically on. Yeah, that's fine. I'll figure that out later. Okay. I have some thoughts on how I want this to go. I want the opening bit to be like Medivh's, what's it called? Karazhan in WoW a little bit. It's just like kind of like Wild Mage Tower stuff for a little bit. There's going to be like a... Maybe I'm trying to do too much on this floor. Maybe that'll be the second. Yeah. So this floor is just going to be this like kind of entranceway. There's going to be like a dining room with like swarms of cutlery and stuff. And I think the big boss of the floor is going to be like this arcane leyline anomaly thing that is kind of like taken over. The last session we talked about, Turris tried to figure out how to siphon up ley lines to power parts of the tower. And I was like, surprise, that's already a thing the tower does. It's just broken. So they saw that there was like this tunnel kind of like sucking up ley line energy from deep below, but the kind of like lightning rod that draws it in is like broken. It's kind of like a glass orb with like swirling metal inside. And it's like cracked and some of the metal is like draining out. So they need to fix that. But to fix that, they need to stabilize this floor. So there's going to be some kind of like arcane anomaly thing kind of defending that. So that'll probably be the big boss of this floor. For the second floor, there's going to be the trend that I want is there's going to be some like recorded like security messages from the original owner of the Tower of Visitia, who is like one of Turris's moms. And as we go, they're going to hear Visitia's voice again at some point, and it's not going to be a security message. It's not going to be to them. It's going to be like a memory that the person actually responsible for Turris's creation, Fontrasan, the other Naga. Turris's parents, Turris's creators, are both Naga, one of which is dead, and kind of like used the last sparks of her soul to bring Turris to life, following kind of a wish from Visitia. So there's going to be some kind of like tucked in memories about that towards the back half of the dungeon, where like the front half are security messages. There's going to be like a trap that comes down, and it's going to be like something like, you know, it'll just be kind of a cage that locks someone in, but then like starts to put that person in stasis, and the message is going to be something along the lines of like, hello intruder, surprised you got so far, blah blah blah. You are about to be locked in stasis. The last time, you know, I will let you out. I will return you to somewhere humane. When I return, you are being put in stasis so you do not expire by the time I come back. By the way, at the time of recording, the last gap between my visits to the tower was 34 years, so I hope you didn't have somewhere to be. Just that kind of thing. There'll be a couple of those throughout the tower. And then, as we go up the tower, I think we'll wrap like a previous villain in. This whole world started with the first like arc of the first campaign in this world was against the cult of the reptile god. We had Explictica Defilus. Explicatica? I don't know. Her actual name sucks, so it's Explictica in this world. Explictica Defilus was the first Naga that showed up at the campaign. Inserted some backstory. After that, it turns out that Explictica, like the Naga are... This is going into way too much backstory. The Naga work for the four gods who had taken over the world for a long time. Explictica rebelled and killed one of these Naga, and as punishment was turned into a Naga and forced into service herself. So, the Naga that Explictica killed was Fontrasan, Turris's mom. So I think that Explictica might show up as a memory, or like maybe when Explictica... There's some things. We'll get to it. Explictica's soul was like sucked into this venom dagger that the first party had, and like maintained some power there. And there was like a way, if anyone in that first party died, there was going to be a thing where Explictica was going to be like, just stab that dagger in. Just stab this dagger into them, and I will save them. And it was like a way for her to kind of crawl back into the world. So, I think... I already told Moto about that. So that can't ever happen again. But what can happen is that Visitia could, after hearing about Explictica's defeat, could go retrieve this dagger and like suck the soul out and have the soul of Explictica Defilus, or the original drow that became Explictica Defilus, in some kind of like punishment, some kind of like stasis, something, just to be like, you are not allowed to go on to the afterlife. You cannot go and have your rest. I will not allow it. You know, there are more complicated reasons why, but we'll get to it. So it's like, you know. I think that'll be fun. So we're going to do that. I don't know if it's going to be this part of the dungeon. I think we're just going to have a little bit of memories about Fontrasan from Visicia's perspective, about Fontrasan's death towards the end of the dungeon. And then we'll bring in Explitica as a villain. In the next floor that we'll tackle in a few levels, I think. So yeah. We only have to hint at that complicated stuff later. So, all that babble said, I'm going to copy this because I'm lazy. I don't know why I copied the actual details. Location details. The first floor is largely made up of facilities meant for guests. It has the dining room. I don't know why I'm writing this. This is literally just for me. Well, we can be more, you know. Dining room. Perhaps dormitories, etc. One big exception: that much of the floor is built around the ley line boiler room. The place where ley energy, or where ley line energy is siphoned to power some of the facilities, some of the tower's facilities. Let's see. Let's reword this. Not that, again, I'm going to read any of this. The place that siphons ley line energy from deep below and redirects it to facilities in the tower. So that's kind of the main thing. I'm going to copy the encounter options. Animated things. Cutlery swarm. Animated armor. Etc. Some kind of arcane anomaly. Feeding on the uncontrolled ley line energy in the boiler room. And those are kind of the main thing. Well, automated defenses. Let's see. Animated things. I think this is like not intentionally animated. I think these are things that have been zapped to life in some way by the ley line energy below, coming up and kind of like surging through here. There are going to be some hazards and traps. One is just going to be like puddles of ley line energy acting as electrified floor. And then I guess there's going to be one, like, there's going to be like a stasis cage. Oh, I need to refill my scratch paper names. So these are the kind of ideas going on. There's one more here. I got scenes in the temple. Let's pull that down. I think I will make some kind of template out of this because I like this. Security recordings. Messages left by Visitia for intruders. Memories blending into these security messages toward the end of the dungeon. Of the floor, I guess. And we'll figure out the others after that. So there's all of that done. Still got about half an hour until I have to take a break. So let's open up Dungeon Draft. And we can start sketching some of this out. I wonder if there's an update. Update to date. Interesting, excellent wording. Okay. What have my map sizes been? 50 by 50? It's like 250 feet by 250 feet. Technically, that's a lot of square footage. Technically. I'm curious how much. Oh yeah, that's just a 62,500 square foot home. Technically, that should be quite huge. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, 50 by 50 is probably big enough. Start with Map Wizard, maybe? Do I have all the asset packs selected? Yeah, I could update them. I probably don't need to. Every time I do that, it's a big ol' thing. Disable wall shadows? Nah. Maybe I don't know. That's fine. This will take a minute to load everything in. I think my biggest complaint about Dungeon Draft is that it has to kind of like load in all of the assets like into memory and into page file. Which like makes sense. It makes sense. It just means some of this loading stuff takes a very long time. Very long time when starting a new map or loading up an old map. As opposed to if it kind of like streamed these assets better. But it makes it faster to search and stuff once you get in. I wish this could happen like while you're running it. You know? But that's harder to do for sure. Especially for a solo developer. So can't complain. It's excellent software. while this is going on, I still have... Is there any module stuff I wanted to do? Hello, Rye! I'm sorry. I am excited you get to hang out for some of this now. I am sorry that you're no longer playing. And I'm sorry to hear that you're, you know, potentially stepping away from Zomboid too, but I big get the having to focus on yourself and your own health right now, because I'm certainly doing way too many things. I'm just too chicken to quit any of them. I miss you too. I obviously don't want to add more things to your plate in any way, but also those art hangouts we were talking about, I could sure use them, because starting this part-time job, I'm having a time figuring out where the art goes. where do I... Yeah. Readjusting my schedule is always a pain in the butt. Take care of you too. I will try. I don't know. I know I'm doing too much stuff. I wouldn't be doing too much stuff if I had a job where I could be working from home, but I don't have that job right now. So, no point in talking about Fantasyland. I just want to get comfortable with my schedule again. I have to do art. That's something I can't ruin. That's fair. That's fair. I would be... Yeah. We should figure that out. I'm really bad at prompting people. I'm good at doing spontaneous things. I'm really bad at being the person to DM someone else to be like, hey, do you want to do that thing we talked about? Yeah. But I could certainly use the art time to just... I need to start working on my own stuff more. That's a thing I need to do. Instead of just doing, like, art practice and, you know, it's, like, really easy for me to sit down and follow a class, but it's really hard for me to sit down and be like, all right, I'm going to work on my own project now. I'm going to draw for myself now. That's really difficult for me to do, which, I don't know. So some time to dedicate to that would be nice. I don't know. Deleted it each time. Oh. I will, like... It's very easy for me to be like, oh, I'm so available. I will always sit down. I will always say yes and sit down and do art. But also, I need to recognize that I'm actually, like... As I was just saying, I'm actually slammed right now. But still... I have a feeling that I'm the most available during the times where you're writing those messages. The nice thing about this part-time job is that it happens at 2 a.m. So I am typically just hanging out during the evening, so that's nice. I do that too. I'm so used to, like, my old situation with, like, for 3 years, I had this not part-time. I had this work from home thing, and my schedule was just completely open, and I could just do anything at any time. So I am used to that, but that's just not actually true right now. There's a set time where I need to sleep, and I can't just be like, yeah, I mean, I'll just sleep at a different time. I'll just, you know, I'll sleep 4 hours, and then I'll come do yoga with my friend downtown, and then I'll go home, and then I'll sleep 4 more hours. I just can't, like, do that now. I don't know. Ugh. I don't like it. I want my infinite schedule again. My infinitely free availability. It was very nice. Let's see. Yeah, let's see if this generates something usable for me. What floor? I am starting to work on Dungeon Turris and the layout for the first set of floors. Oh, this looks nice. It might not look nice once it's repeated across an entire dungeon, but it looks nice right now. That's a nice tile. That wall is so pretty. Again, it might look horrible when it makes up an entire dungeon, but that looks very pretty. Well, I like this for some of the walls. Just to show that Visicia is actually a boss. In terms of, like, weaving these things together. In terms of, like, creating... Just effortlessly creating... like, architectural works of art. This is a creature who's, like, shaped mountains and things. So I would love if their tower just showed off some of these fine details. This kind of interwoven metal is a little more simple. That might work better. We'll see how it looks. We'll just generate it. We don't even know if this is going to make me anything I can use. I was right that this tile looks a little weird, repeated ad nauseum. Yeah, it's just like so noisy once you zoom in. It confuses my brain. So what I'll probably end up doing is I'll go find that and I'll put it as like a tile in the middle of a lot of these rooms. And then the outside I'll have something else. And that clears it up quite a bit. So let's find a simpler... Oh, this is also a problem. It's all like, wow, okay. I don't know how this gets flipped. Here it's on the inside correctly, right? The, like, kind of nice artistic decoration. But then this wall, it's on the wrong side. That's so funny. That's so weird. Be like, I don't know how to put it. It's only the outside outline that's facing the wrong direction. Doesn't look bad. For most of it, it's, I should be looking at the layout. The layout is a little... much. This might actually be too big. Well, that's fine. I can end up centering it a little bit. We'll hit generate a few times. The wall, yeah, the wall I don't mind at all. Actually, I thought the wall would look too busy, but it actually looks fine. The floor... I think it's too noisy for me to make up the entire dungeon. But it's true that, like, zoomed out a little bit. I like the room view. It's not bad. It's only when you, like, really get... when it's, like, filling up your whole screen, it's a bit much. Hello, Pokeniner. Hello. How are you doing? Let me see... I try the double-sided wall. Go find that again. I don't know that this tile will look much less busy, but we'll try it. I don't mind that too much. Tonight's going pretty well. We have been making good progress. I've been productive. I'm a little bit sicky, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to be around. But I'm having a good time. Also, I think I was correct that these dungeon layouts aren't going to be helping me too much. Denser is probably a little better. This is definitely too many rooms, but I can hollow it out. Did I ask you to look at something in the past for feedback? I believe so. Yeah, you were talking about, you had like a warlock with a dragon patron. You were like, cooking on a dragon patron homebrew. It's not going to be as labyrinthy as this looks. I'm like just generating some layouts as a starting place that I'm going to customize. I was going to ask if you could offer me some feedback on a new project subclass. I think I could do that, yeah. Like I said. Oh, I like the wheel. Again, I don't think I like it repeated all over the place. But I'll come back to that. You're fine. You're totally fine. I still have the link, so we're all good. If I can get it to snap to my page. Okay. Let's put it up here. I'll put it up here. It's easier. Good job, bots. You are working as intended. Yeah. Nightbot generally does a good job. Tundra Titan. Interesting. Oh, is this kind of like a... Okay. I gotta say, I don't know a ton about 5e Ranger. So I will not be able to compare and contrast this very much. It's not something I've played much. But I like the flavor of it already. Chill of fear follows your presence, thanks in part to the cold powers you've unraveled about the frozen titans. Amongst the frigid lands, you've witnessed the training and society of frost giants, incorporating them into your understanding of slaying them. The cutthroat ideals of the strongest overall becomes the very goal you live by in order to guard your home. Will you embrace the cruel challenges of a chilling titan? On the feel and mechanics of it, okay. It makes a ton of sense that one of their spells is Armor of Agathis. Hello, Stubbs. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing? How's the new location been going? I guess the location's probably not new, but you know what I mean. Enlarge or reduce, that also makes sense. Waterwalk makes sense. Ready to throw my new PC out the window? Oh no. Oh no, is the new PC not doing it for you? Is it giving you trouble? I hate that. I hate that. Every new PC I've had, for the last like 10 years, every new PC I've had like blue screens in the first month that I had to figure out, and it makes me so mad and paranoid every time. I'm like, I got a new computer to get away from this. What are you doing? Let's see. One bit of feedback I do have. I don't know if this is just, you know, I think I'm just in the basic PDF viewer for Firefox. The text gets a little like tough where it overlays this image. I don't know if it's got better formatting in other PDF readers. I'm not sure. But this is like tough to read without highlighting it. I have the wrong RAM for it. Of it giving me problems and user error causing problems. Yeah. Mine was a RAM problem too. For this one. I still don't know if it was bad RAM or like just mismatched speeds. I didn't think mismatched speeds was a problem in modern computers. But like I ordered the PC with a certain RAM spec. And then after buying the PC, bought extra RAM cheaper elsewhere to match the RAM spec that was in the PC. But they were out of RAM, this PC builder. They were out of the RAM at the appropriate speed, so they upgraded me for free. So I got faster RAM from the people who built it. And then slower RAM that I bought myself. I don't know, there were blue screens related to the RAM. And I never figured out if it was just bad RAM or what. But I sent those sticks back to the people who built the PC, and I was like, hey, could you know, while you're replacing this, could you give it to me in the original speed that I had ordered? Is that possible? I don't need the upgrade. You can send me back cheaper RAM at the lower speed, and I'll be totally fine with it. I would prefer that. And they were like, oh yeah, you know, sometimes we upgrade you for free just because of like, you know, logistics and supply reasons, and you know, just enjoy the free upgrade. And I was like, okay, that's fine, I guess. I wouldn't want you to have to go and change a field on your computer while you're filling out the work order. I wouldn't want you to have to edit a Salesforce field. So I still haven't like put that faster speed RAM in my computer because I'm like terrified of it blue screening, and I just don't want it. I just don't want to open up that case anymore the entire rest of the time I own it. But so for a year I've had these two sticks of very fast, very good RAM, just laying in a box. I feel really dumb about it. and it makes my music crackle. Not like when I'm just sitting here listening. When I'm writing music, when I'm making music in my in FL Studio, like some of the libraries I use are so big that it gets like loaded into page files on my computer instead of into RAM. And if I just had the extra 64 gigs of RAM in there, it wouldn't crackle. It wouldn't go slow enough that it would like crackle reading those files. So I need to just shove it in there and try it. Yeah. I'm sorry, I was babbling about the Ranger. Let's see. Runic Wrath. Ooh. Bonus proficiencies, okay. You gain Presence of Giants. The ancient presence of the giants are invoked in you. Wow, that was some TTRPG brain that I just read you gain as the first sentence. You gain proficiency with heavy armor. In addition, wearing heavy armor does not impose disadvantage on your dexterity stealth checks if the armor normally imposes it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense for a ranger, I get that. It does impose disadvantage, however, if you fail to fulfill the armor's strength requirement. Okay. Makes sense, I like it. With Wrath, you become well attuned to the magical and chilling creations of the Titans. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can choose to invoke a magical rune of the Frost Giants into that weapon, granting it the following benefits, including for the triggering attack. The rune weapon becomes magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. Deals an additional 1d6 cold damage for the duration. Also ignores resistance to cold damage. Increases to 1d8 when you reach 11th level. Okay. I like that. I think 11th is around the time that paladins get improved Divine Smite, which I think is also like a 1d8 radiant damage. So that feels similar, feels in line. Oh, that's cool. The ruined weapon could be used as a focus for your spellcasting. Creatures damaged by the ruined weapon have their movement speed reduced by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. Okay. Yeah, that feels in line with, again, some of the stuff from, like, Conquest Paladin and stuff. It can be used for the Armor of Agathis spell. Like a... Okay. I don't know if I follow... Requires a challenge to be sustained. The rune fades off the weapon. If you end your turn without either casting a spell with the ruined weapon that turn, or ending your turn within 5 feet of a hostile creature? Or, okay, so that's still without. So if you end your turn further than 5 feet from a hostile, then you also lose the rune. Okay. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. And you regain all expended uses when you finish a short or long rest. Okay. Oh, normally Armor of Agathis needs a material component. Okay. I see. So it's like the focus is replacing material components for some of the spells. For some, yeah, okay. That makes sense. Cast, wow, cast Armor of Agathis as a bonus action. That's pretty cool. That's pretty strong. Snow Shroud. When creatures make an attack and hit you while you have temporary hit points from Armor of Agathis, all attack rolls made against you have disadvantage until the end of that turn, as the frost from the spell shrouds your presence temporarily. Okay. I think a more common interaction would be like if a creature takes damage from Armor of Agathis, then they have disadvantage on all attack rolls against you until the end of that turn, or the end of their turn. That would make it, like, better in some cases. Since it would just be, like, when they touch you, like, if they try to grapple you, it would happen. And you could potentially trigger it well, yeah. It would also make it, like, worse against people who have ice immunity, but it might make more sense. Yeah, you know, if there's, like, an ice elemental that hits you and they're, like, immune to ice magic, then they don't take damage from Armor of Agathis, so then they don't get disadvantages against you. It might, like, make more in-fiction sense. The idea was to draw multi-attackers. Okay. When a creature makes an attack and hits you while you have temporary hit points from Armor of Agathis, all attack rolls made against you. Okay. Okay, yeah, I get that. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay, I get that. Yeah, okay. Again, I might consider making it just like when the temporary hit points from Armor of Agathis take damage. So it could like trigger, it could trigger on like, you know, you have to make a reflex saving throw against Fireball or something, and it like blasts your temporary hit points. Then it might still activate this, which, you know, situationally could make it like worse or better, but I think it's fine as it is. It's fine. Something to consider, but I think it's fine. Titan Grasp. At 11th level, your Study of the Giants have given you the ability to shape Hands of Frost, to drag your foes into combat regardless of the distance. Once per turn, when you take the attack action, you can enhance one of those attacks to form a Hand of Frost to drag the target closer. Okay. The attack gains the following benefits. The range of the attack increases to 30 feet. On hit, the target must succeed a strength saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failure, the creature falls prone and is dragged towards you to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you. Okay. Okay. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a short or long rest. Got you. I like it. I like it. Do Rangers get multi-attack? Yeah, get over here. It makes a lot of sense. It could be a very strong source of self-advantage. It's situational enough that it's probably just cool and not a problem. But if you like rip someone towards you and they fall prone, and then you take your second attack at them at advantage, that's like, that is very strong sometimes. But I like it. I like that that combo idiom. Let's see. Starting at 15th level, Bitter Blessing. Your connection to the cold of the snowy lands has granted you brief moments. Jesus, sorry. Mentioned it a couple of times. I am sick today, and my brain is not braining. The Might of a Blizzardous Titan. As a bonus action, you can undergo a Titanic transformation. Do you get big form? Do you get huge? If you're smaller than huge, you become huge? Hell yeah. Along with anything you are wearing. If you lack the room to become huge, your size doesn't change. Your strength score changes to 23 plus 6 modifier. It does not change if your strength score is 23 or higher already. You have immunity to cold damage. When you invoke Runic Wrath, you can use your reaction to make the target's body crumble from the cold. Oh, Jesus. Granting them vulnerability to cold damage. You deal until your Runic Wrath ends. This does not affect the creature if they are immune to cold damage. Okay. I like that a lot. That's very cool. It's not, like, enough cold damage that you're going to be one-shotting bosses with it, but that is still, like, very strong and very cool. Yeah, that's rad. Brain losing power for sure. I like it. I like the subclass. That's a lot of cool flavor. Flavor's like baked into every one of these, and nothing feels like it's like this is just a filler for a level, and I don't really have an idea of what's going on. Like everything feels very flavorful and intentional, so I dig it. I like it a lot. Very cool. Feels very similar to some like barbarian archetypes. No, Jesus, brain. Some barbarian stuff in Pathfinder. Some barbarian rage options. Ooh, the armor. Yeah. The armor of Agathis damage is now doubled that effect. Yeah, that's very cool. I don't know how ranger spell slots work. How high do they just like get up to 9th level spells? Do they get to Armor of Agathis at 9th level once they get up near that range? Up to 5th level. Okay. That makes much more sense. Half-caster, okay. Still, 5th level Armor of Agathis is pretty strong. Yeah, the Runic Wrath idea, yeah. Max of 25 temp HP, yeah. That's still quite good. Especially if you're bonus actioning it. I dig that a lot. Oh goodness. Okay, I'm going to take a break, and then I'll come back and we'll stare out some dungeon layouts a little bit more. So catch you guys in a couple of minutes, and that was the wrong button. See you then. All right, I am back for a little bit. There's some tea in my near future. I have some like peppermint tea that felt really, really nice. Really nice on the sick throat. So I'll be grabbing some of that after stream. This wall seems darker than the other one for some reason. Some of the ways it draws this are so funny. I kind of almost like this layout. Almost. Oh, those are like metal grates. Yeah, let's keep to the tiles. Oh, right, these are the wheels. Okay. That's so weird. This pattern looks totally different to me depending on how zoomed in I am. Like, at this specific zoom level, it's like just diamonds. Looks like just chill diamonds. I don't know, I like this all right. I wish I could enhance the kind of, I don't know, there's like a... If I put lighting on this and it's like less flat, that probably gets rid of a lot of the noise issues for like a lot of these tile sets. But there's like some dirt and grime overlay. Like you could tell this bit looks different than this bit. And that's, if it was like a little more... A little higher contrast, it would be almost even nicer. I do kind of like this layout in general too, so I might stick with this. So again, the idea is that there's going to be like one big circular room right in the middle, and then the rest is kind of going to curl around it, and I kind of like this kind of interconnected feel ending in a particular room. And we wouldn't have the entrance like right at one end of it, or like right here, for instance. We'd probably have it like here-ish would be the entrance. And then they'd come down here and it would like branch left or right, and then they could go either way and end up in the middle kind of circle area. And then they would have like a branch left kind of like unexplored that kind of weaves back in on itself as well. So gives a nice feeling of kind of exploration as they go through, just gives them a couple of choices no matter which way they go. I might, yeah, we'll roll with this, I think. Gonna have to make some curved rooms on the outside, and I don't know how well that works. I kind of forget how easy that is to do. But this is what we'll start with. Yeah, I wish I could do like semicircles and stuff, but If I do a room there, yeah, it's using the same stuff, so that's nice. Why? Oh, it's not the same stuff. Why is it so bright? Why is the wall so much brighter? That is dramatic. That is dramatically brighter. These should be the same wall. Also, you can really tell, like, the illusion here doesn't hold up on these curved walls and stuff when you zoom literally all the way in. But out here, you can't even tell. It's so bright. It's the right floor. Was the base wall just, like, tinted? And I have too many walls and stuff. I just have too many. Okay, well, I'd rather use the untinted version of the wall for sure. It is a bit brighter. Obviously, it's a bit brighter, but it's like when you're zoomed out, it's a bit aliasy and sparkly almost. I'm gonna need to do some shadow tricks to make this circle seem like a circle, but for now, I'm actually just gonna delete all of this, which again zaps all the walls. Very funny. We'll get rid of that one. Just make some space for this big old circle. It was like something. Something like that. Connect this here. I don't think we need these pillars. Oop, I made a mistake. Simplify some of this a little bit. We might keep this a big long hallway. Wow, that didn't work. I'm so confused. Why some of these walls are dark and others aren't? Okay, so this just shouldn't be the same tile in the middle. So pattern shape. Put it on the right layer. This is one where we can use one of these simpler brick patterns. I almost like the idea of... Let's see, if we do something like this... I like the idea of it being kind of a completely different pattern. Or I like the idea of it being one of these more circular patterns. I need to bring it into like Photoshop or something and like distort it, kind of like pinch it along the edges. I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to do that. Yeah, it's never gonna look quite like it's a sphere. Like, I just can't kind of bend a flat texture to make it look like it's all curving up. That's kind of an unfortunate thing I didn't think about. Can't do it with like cobblestone, right? Like this thing won't work, right? Oh, I did this at the wrong angle, but that helps just because it's not as square. One of these super irregular patterns could work. This is one I'm gonna have to play with. This dungeon track is going a little hard. This could work. Again, it's like a pattern that's not totally made out of squares. It's made out of these like bent diamonds. So I could play with that. Yeah. Okay, let me find that in a darker color. Yep, here it is. Yeah. You know, that's the most like creatively interesting thing about modifying this layout. So maybe we'll do that real quick. We'll just export this. I'll pull it into Paint.net, the most capable of image editing software, obviously. Let's do it in we'll do it in PNG. We're not gonna want the grid. Grid off. I'm gonna need to edit it. Done a draft. Turris. Once that's done exporting, we'll pull it in and we'll play with just some like distortion and stuff. See what we can do. We'll have to redo this, but, you know, whatever. It's fine. It's like about here. I did too high. About here? I did too. Gosh darn it. Too sideways. No, I need to go to like the corner of the tile, right? Now it's too tall. Gosh darn. This is so hard. If I could like... This is the hardest part of Paint.net, is selecting the right stuff. You don't have a lot of options to like adjust your selection other than like adding or subtracting afterwards. Like here? Might have to go with a close enough mentality here. A little too far over on the right, but you know what? We're gonna call it good. So now... I guess we don't really want... I was kind of sure that I had what I wanted to do here, but now that I think about it, I don't actually think I have the kind of like pinch and stuff. Yeah, I might need to bring it into something else. Krita? Or Affinity Photo? Distort might do it. Bulge, rather. So that's clearly the wrong direction. And this doesn't spherize it very well. Like I need it to pinch the edges out. Oh, edge behavior is on clamp here. Let's wrap? What? No. Yeah, the stuff I want to adjust the most is actually the edge. Which I guess technically a positive bulge almost does, but not really. Edge behavior checkbox or dropdown is like not changing a whole lot. Okay, so that's not going to work, purely because it's adjusting the middle more than the edge. Wow, this is something completely different. And it is interesting, but it is sure completely different. Okay. Why is it centering there? It's hurting my eyes. And this is not helping. Okay, get it out of here. Get it out of here. Okay. This is clearly not it. But that is always a fun one to play with. Yeah, I need to use different software for this, I guess. Hello, Miami. Welcome. How are you doing? Okay. We'll probably... I'll probably play with this one offline. I'll bring it into other software and I'll try it out. Tilted around a little on Zomboid, try to take it easy this season, yeah. After I got home from work last night, I hopped back on just to grind out level 1 electricity. Without any books. Got a little bit of experience in mechanics without any books. We don't have mechanics 2. We have mechanics 1, but not mechanics 2. And, yeah. Maxed carpentry already. Excellent. Well done. Well done. We are low on educational materials at our base. We have a well-secured location. Fast learner and VHS tapes are just broken. Yeah, that's true. We don't have any tapes. We don't have a TV that plays tapes. We may have the larger faction, but we have the... we generally have the less experienced looters. And then Yuri and I are, like, so... like, focused on character stuff and, like, kind of focusing on the survival aspect and, like, kind of wrangling this group that we're not going out and looting. we're not doing anything super... We're not bringing in those, like, skill materials yet. JDB might have sacked the books in your area. I saw that. I shouldn't be spying on the other channels, but I did a little. Yeah, we'll see what we find. There's gotta be books around somewhere. You know, we have a sledgehammer and we have the generator magazine, so we have we have the Zomboid staples. We're fine. We're set. Okay, like I said, I'm gonna take this into a different photo editing software and test it out later. Try to make this look more like a bowl, you know. We'll try, but for now. For now, we're going to leave it alone. We're going to look at other stuff. And I kind of want, like I said, I kind of want this to be rounded a little bit more. Yeah, we're down to a 4-person faction against a 7-person group in less than 3 days. Again, like... Yuri's probably the only scary PvPer on our team, other than the fact that some of the other folks in the group are newer and won't have any restraint. I wish I could make a palette of tiles so I'm not scrolling back and forth so much. That would be nice. That's a feature I'd like, I'd advocate for. It's like this one, but I don't actually think that's correct. Oh, I went to the wrong thing. I'm so dumb. Yeah, glad League and Revenant are having a good time, though. Got to speak with Revenant a lot last night, and he's a really fucking cool guy. Apparently he's Yuri's literal next-door neighbor. That's rad. Yeah. I knew they knew each other, but I didn't really know what the connection was. So that's cool. That's very cool. We're gonna send this one out a brick. Make it just seem that little bit more rounded. And I'm not concerned about making this seem perfectly round or anything. I'm gonna round some of this stuff out. The edge rooms just, like, reference the fact that this is a rounded tower. I don't really care. I don't need to draw, like, a perfect circle around this whole thing. I'm not that worried about it. I accidentally made him shit bricks when I ran into Bo and Peaches as Bobby in the middle of an apartment building. Yeah. I've been wondering how long it'll take for our factions to actually, like, run into each other a bit and interact. So that's cool that there's some stuff like that going on already. I'm pretty sure we're really far apart. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I know we... Well... You probably went further than us. Follow the bodies from the bar through the city? Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, so that's rounded enough for me to be happy. Let's see. I think this will be the entrance where they start. I kind of like this little cross-shaped hallway here, actually. Let's see. Maybe we'll open this up. Probably most of these hallways aren't too cramped. Well, I don't know. I just have a door right here. This might be the big dining room. Oh, I guess the other thing is... I kind of want to have some places that are, like, blown out into strange interdimensional places. So I don't want all of this to actually be brick. Doubly curious how long it'll take for stress cracks to show in the groups. I'm dying for some backdoor deals and betrayals. Yeah, I want to start poking at it a little bit in the group. Like, so far our group is like, well, we didn't do it, and this other group is you know, I don't trust anyone over there. But like, hasn't gone much deeper than that. There's not a huge sense of urgency in our group, so I'm gonna try to be like, look, man, whether any of us did it or not, someone over in Leadership Town is gonna start looking for a fall guy. And I know how that goes. I know how that goes, and we don't want anyone here to be the fall guy. Because everyone associated with them is gonna get kind of the same treatment, you know? So, I'll try to instill a little bit of urgency there. And I don't know if that's true of the other group. You know, but that's certainly an opinion that Crow's gonna have. What am I doing? I am looking for stairs. I've forgotten how to like do any of this. Do I have good pre-made stair curves and stuff, or do I have to make my own? You know what? It's paths that I usually use. That's right. Okay, paths. Stair. Those ones are kind of bad. Any of these are really fine. Something like that, and then we'll have some shadows. Something like this. That fades. Transition out. Fade. No. I think I like shrink better. Maybe I don't like shrink better. Wish I could have both. This does a pretty good job, I guess. That does a good enough job. Okay. Bubby and Dane will hopefully get some people moving too. She was pretty threatening with Bo, but they let her into the club to talk. And she's marketed herself and Dane as people that'll do anything for the right pay. But they're also pissed about losing out on a ton on the payment for the job they did before Merle died. Yeah. Right, that makes sense. Hopefully someone gets the idea to pay them or use them for some hidden shit. I know people were already like, they were like kind of convinced that those two bombed the bridge, were responsible for that. I don't even remember how that came up though, really. Oh, that'll work. Can I like turn off grid snapping now? You know what? Hold on. Put the snapping back on. End it there. Take snap. Do this, do this, do this. Okay, that doesn't look quite right. Let's try it with max smoothness. Snapping off. Click. Snapping on. Click. Yeah, that doesn't look super great, actually. Simply not really the effect I'm going for. Oh, they put their tag all over the bomb site. I was surprised people found it to be a huge mystery when the BD tags were all over the rig. Yeah, people just don't know, like, the characters super well yet, you know. I forgot about that, though. That's right. Let's see. What the? I type in knocker, I'm looking for like a door knocker, and it gives me sticker? The fuzzy search in Dungeon Draft is wild. This probably won't even export like it won't look like anything on export. That's probably good enough. Let's see. So we have these stairs going up. One of these first rooms is going to be like a dining room. I guess this kind of first room will be kind of a reception of some sort. So we can dress this one up as the dining room. I might use that other tile in here. What am I doing? Oh, it's up here. Pattern tool. That's what it is. Turn snapping back on. Go back to square, huh? I'm floored that despite best efforts, guns are seemingly still fairly easy to find. Yeah, we found a couple of good ones. We don't have anything huge though. Definitely need some kind of transition to that floor type. Some kind of border around this. Some kind of path, maybe. Or wall. We could use one of the walls as like a border pattern on this. Why would I start it in the middle of the floor? Why would I do that? Turn off shadow. Let's just see what outlining this looks like. That makes it look quite pronounced and ominous, really. Yeah, like maybe something desaturated and darker. Try that. Still looks quite pronounced and everything, but let's try this. Is this the right direction? Yes. It's all right. I like the other one better. Oh, this one's got a nice, like, edge to it. A nice... I was gonna say bevel, but it's more like a, I don't know, inlay. I don't know. Okay, I like this one. Maybe we give this one the same treatment. How did we... Oh, it broke the tint! Gosh darn it. Okay, I like the look of that. Ammo is a huge bottleneck, but it's really not been that difficult to at least find guns. Yeah, I found a couple. I like did a perimeter around our base, and I found like a fully loaded shotgun, fully loaded handgun, and I was like, all right, well, that's enough to do damage. Let's see. There's some like nice overlay patterns somewhere in here, but I have a million tiles. So we'll see if I find them. I found them. I don't know, this should be 3x3. Let me put the table down first, and then I'll figure out where I want the pattern. Oh, that's the other thing. I need like a nice banquet table. It's only gonna, I'm only gonna have wooden tables. I know it. I know it. Well, I said that, and then I just have Mind Flayer tables, I guess. Still not this Naga's style, but, you know, it's something. I like the idea of the map table. Might go with the map table. One of these table runner things could work. Oh, I like the... I like the polygon wood table as well. These are all pretty small. Oh my gosh, I have so many more tables than I thought. $10 million tables, good lord. Am I going to be able to find that wood table again? Yes, there it is. says this is 4x4, but it looks smaller. But oh, it was at like half scale. And then there were some like table runners that had kind of a... There's some things with like a vine motif. Let me just do vine. Let me turn down the fuzzy search. Good lord, I have a lot of vines. Put this on the lower layer. I also need to turn snapping off because of how these are offset. Do I have shadows on these? Gosh darn it. Suppose I could have lined it up with that before I deleted it. But that's fine. Okay. I don't remember seeing any of this Mind Flayer stuff. I don't know when I installed this. How did I... Oh, Z is the slow rotate. Okay. Okay. It's gonna be like much smaller encounter ranges than this party is used to.
Let's see. Can I even... I don't know how to represent this, how I want to represent this kind of like interdimensional space wherever it is. The water effect could work. Oh yeah, I forgot it uses this kind of sketchy art style of... That's disconnected. What do you mean? My internet might be being a little bit iffy right now. This could work, please. I'm just trying to dungeon. Okay. If OBS is going to be playing jokes on me, I might wrap it up. But let's see if I can give you guys an idea of what I want to do here first. Yeah, we can kind of paint this in, whatever. This might end up being really cool, maybe. I should wait to draw the cobblestone until the end, but I like how that looks. I like the idea of mixing in different types of stone. I'm going to leave that drow stone pattern in there. Oh, there's some space ones. Nice. Whoa. I didn't realize it would change the whole thing, but I guess that makes sense. I don't know exactly what I want this to look like yet. That works a little better. Hold on. Gonna get rid of all of this blob and then repaint it. Oh, I liked the other one better. I like the darker one. I don't think I care for the snow underneath. I like that effect. For whatever reason, the red space under the purple looks really black and white, and I really kind of like that effect. Okay, I like how this is looking. I want a little more contrast here. Can we... That one looks the same. Oh, I like that. Okay. No idea what's going to be over here, but I like it. I think I might have to do the ley line energy stuff in Foundry. Maybe. This is where, like, the cutlery swarms are going to be and stuff, so that's fine. I don't think I'm going to be able to run this dungeon tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be ready. I'm going to play with it a lot more tonight, but yeah. I think I'm going to wrap it up because my internet's being goofy and YouTube's mad at me for it, and I'm sick and talking hurts. So we're going to wrap it up here. You guys are getting the gist of the Turris dungeon a little bit anyway. So yeah, look forward to me running this. We might get the first couple of, I'll work on the first couple of rooms more so they're ready for tomorrow. Kind of, top half of the dungeon. And we'll go from there. So I will do that later on tonight. So thank you guys for hanging out for a little bit of GM prep. It's been a little while. Happy to hop on. I had a lot of fun, a lot of good conversations. So looking forward to doing it again. I will try to get one of these in next week, where we will almost certainly fill out the rest of this dungeon. I'm still, at a certain point, I accelerate rapidly and I start cooking very quickly, but in this early stage, I fiddle around way too much. I need to go look at, like, some enemies, pull those in, so, yeah. So, I'm gonna go find someone to raid. Disney Plus isn't where I go to do that. Directory/following. Who's been watching Agatha all along so far? Who's caught some of that? Because that's some of the best Marvel stuff that's been going on in a while. And I'm not even as down on Marvel as some other folks are lately, but Agatha all along, quite good. Quite good. Obviously recommend watching. It's like a sequel to WandaVision. So I do recommend watching that first, which is also quite good. Even though at the time some people dogged on it, because fandom is toxic. It's kind of a quiet night on my following list at the moment. Yeah, a little bit. Oh, Silver Metal Tavern's playing some board game stuff. Backgammon, challenge me in chat. And MTG Arena. Okay. Multitasking. We could go see what Silver Metal's up to. Silver Metal is a mutual friend through Core. Does a lot of, like, board games and stuff. We've chatted about some, like, tabletop stuff in the past. They're playing MTG Arena and Backgammon. So that's interesting. They do a lot of tabletop stuff, of course. A lot of tabletop, like, board games and stuff. Very cool. Always enjoy hearing what they are up to. So I think we will go say hello there. I think that's the move. You can paste in the raid messages if you like. I'm really bad at inserting those. really quite bad. If I'm being honest. I get a little bit self-conscious about asking everyone to do, like, the raid messages when I know there's not that many people here, and I've been doing, like, some sleeker content, like D&D prep. So I get embarrassed about being like, all right, let's go ahead and slam down the raid message, and when there's, like, I know there's probably only, like, one person actively hanging out, ready to copy the message. Yeah. But if you'd like, go ahead and copy one of them raid messages, and we can go say hello. All right. I hope I am less sick next time I see you all next week. For now, I will be back tomorrow. I will not be less sick by tomorrow, but I will be running Pathfinder, and it'll be a good time, and I'm sure I'll have a lot of energy for that and die immediately after. So come say hello to that. If you want, say hello to that.
come check that out if you'd like. We will maybe be running some of this dungeon. And then we will be prepping more of it next week. I have some music projects I want to work on. Want to get on stream and do that. I would like to play through Metaphor before it's completely irrelevant on Twitch. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if I'm even going to buy it in the next couple of weeks. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. As my schedule is super chaos right now. So we'll see how that goes. But music and Pathfinder for sure in the coming weeks. I hope you all have a wonderful night and a wonderful rest of your weekend. And I'll see you all again real soon. Goodbye.